Good day once again, Captain RODIENPACA. We have already almost completed the Part C. You know the Part C? These are the rules 20 to 31. We have discussed already rules 1 up to rule 28, remember? Now we discuss rule 29 and rule 30 and rule 31. Let's start. Rule 29, pilot vessels. So what are pilot vessels? They are vessels used by harbor pilots or paid pilots in Japan to meet your vessel for you to dock. So these are the real pilot vessels in videos. Okay, pilot vessel. A vessel engaged on pilotage duty shall exhibit at or near the masthead two all-around lights in a vertical line, the upper being white, the lower being red. When underway, sidelights and sternlight. With an anchor, in addition to lights prescribed, the lights and shape required for Rule 30 for vessel at anchor. Very easy. A pilot vessel will not engage on pilotage duty shall exhibit the lights and shapes prescribed for several vessels of her length. It's very clear. The rule stipulates that if it's a white the pilot vessel, if it's in her duty coming to your vessel, that pilot boat should be able to display a white over red. Remember, what is red over white? It's a fishing vessel. White over red is a pilot vessel. So you should remember this one. This is quite reverse on a fishing vessel. This is a pilot vessel. When she's at anchor, she has to display an anchor lights and shape. Very easy. When she is not engaged in duty, she's just a simple power-driven vessel. So whatever the length of the boat they're using, they shall display prescribed lights and shape for that length. Why don't we check our animations? So our animations, this is rule 29. Okay, rule 29 for a pilot vessel. So we have already pilot vessel. White over red, side lights, green and red, stern light. Simple as this. But I have shown you the real pilot vessel. Even at my back right now, they are actually the real pilot vessel. They are the real pilot vessel, this one. So it's now very clear. Rule 29. Now let's go to Rule 30. Rule 30 talks about vessel at anchor in my starboard side, in my right hand, and vessel aground on my port side. Okay? Two definition: anchored vessel and vessel aground, and two real world examples. Okay. Rule 30: a vessel at anchor shall exhibit where it can best be seen in the fore part an all-around white light or one ball. Okay. In the forward part, all-around white light or one ball, or near the stern at the lower level than the light prescribed in subparagraph 1, an all-around white light. A vessel of less than 50 meters may exhibit an all-around white light where it can be seen instead of the lights prescribed of paragraph alpha. Okay, let's animate. This is the real world examples of vessel at anchor. And the vessel at anchor, we're talking one ball only. Anchor ball. After you anchor, we would always say, oh, second mate, oh, chief mate, don't forget the ball around, the one ball, and of course the night time you have to display lights. I used to board vessel of more than 50 meters, so I have two anchor lights. So the rules stipulate that you have the anchor lights, which is one in the forward and one in the stern, lower than the forward light. That is the anchor light. Okay, let's show you. Rule 30 is this one. Okay, Rule 30, this is aground, this is daytime, Okay, anchored vessel. This is vessel at anchor, which is nighttime. Okay, and a black ball in the morning. So we don't want to complicate, no, by just showing a very simple. That's a white light, and when sunrise come, duty on 4 to 8 cadet AB display the anchor ball. It's called anchor ball. Okay, that's the anchor ball. Now let's continue on the other rules. Anchored vessels may, or a vessel at anchor may, and a vessel of 100 meters and more in length shall also use available working equipment lights to illuminate their deck. So aside from, it's not mandatory, but aside from the 2 anchor lights, but because it's too long, you have more than 200 meters, you have more than 100 meters, you have to use other lights to illuminate your ship, because the in-between distance may create a misunderstanding that is black night. You cannot be seen, so you have to illuminate every light you have within those 2 anchor lights. I'm talking about the very long vessel. So these are the sample of anchored vessel in different bays. Vessel aground, now this time aground. For some circumstances, somebody missed their calculations, somebody made mistake, and they were aground. A vessel aground shall exhibit the lights prescribed in paragraph alpha or bravo of this rule, meaning the anchor lights, where they can best be seen. 2 all-around red lights in a vertical line. Okay, so 3 balls in a vertical line. So meaning the vessel aground, aside from the anchor light, you must display at the night time 2 red lights in vertical line, 2 red lights in vertical line, and 3 balls in a vertical line. It is daytime. So let's check the Rule 30 animation. So the Rule 30 animation, so if you can see this one, the animations, the ship is really listing because she's aground. Okay, this is nighttime. A display of 2 red lights in a vertical line. Okay, and she's not running, so this should not be the masthead light. This should be an anchor light. So anchor light here and anchor light. This is less than 50 meters, so just an anchor light and 2 red lights. Okay, so at daytime, okay, vessel aground is 3 black balls in vertical line. Okay, so the shapes, they are quite different. So if you remember, if you remember the vessel constrained by her draft, the day shape of the vessel constrained by her draft is, let's wait for the sunrise. It's a cylinder, so it's a very different. In rule in rule 30, the vessel aground 3 black balls. So it's really created difference. At nighttime is 2 red. So this is the rules all about. It's about distinctions of lights and shapes for us to easy to identify. Okay. Echo vessel. Rule 30 echo vessel less than 7 meters in length when at an anchor, not or near a narrow channel, fairway or anchorage where other vessel normally navigate shall not be required to exhibit the lights or shape prescribed in paragraph. Okay, if you have a vessel, you have a yacht of less than 7 meters, don't display anchor light. Don't display, especially, but when not in near of narrow channel or fairway. Okay, so even at anchor, do not display. You enjoy, sip your drink, fish. I'm talking about a small fish, a fishing rod. So a vessel of less than 12 meters in length, when aground, shall not be required to exhibit the lights prescribed in subparagraph delta 1 and 2 of this rule. Meaning, if you're too small, less than 12 meters in length, and you're aground, you don't need to display the aground lights and shapes as prescribed of this rule. Okay? fellow mariners, that was Rule 30, anchored vessels, and Rule 30, which is vessel aground. Now we go to Rule 31. This is the last rule. Okay, this is the last rule on the Part C. This is a light of shapes. Rule 31, where it is impracticable for a seaplane, no? It is impracticable for a seaplane or a weak craft to exceed the lights and shapes and characteristics, of a, or in a position prescribed of this rule of this part, she shall exhibit, okay? She shall exhibit lights and shapes as closely and similar to the characteristics and position as is possible. So there are leniency, there are considerations being considered on a seaplane, knowing it is a seaplane. So if it is impracticable to display the lights and shapes, you can place it anywhere as long as it will not be misunderstood by the other parties. So I've never been in seaplane, so but you know, I can see this seaplane here, no? At my back. So here, the seaplane is actually, they have leniency because they are easy to maneuver, they can fly. Fellow mariners, Rule 31, the end part of Part C of Colregs 1972. Okay. So why not we see on our animations what's a seaplane all about? Okay, so should there be a seaplane? No? And the drawing would say that this is a starboard side light. It should be like the same wherever they can place it. No, and there must be a masthead light and it is a port side light. The rule only stipulates that if it is impracticable, you just have to display anywhere. Fellow mariners, that was Rule 31. And that's the end. That's the end of our Part C of the Colregs 1972, which is the international regulation for avoiding collisions at sea. Happy sailing. God bless.